Oracle. What should they call her? What should they call her? Oracle. Hey, gang. How are we? Happy Monday. How all are well. What's good, April? So, first off, let me say, what's good, Jessa? How are you, babes? Tawanda, hey. So let me start off by saying, happy birthday, Pisces. Happy birthday, Pisces. Pisces season is upon us. And I feel like this Pisces season is important. It's been so long. I'm glad to see you, babes. So, honestly, I feel like this Pisces season is important. And I was going over this with my private group, and now we're going to get into it here. I feel like with all these big transits that we had going on, and with Saturn and Neptune being in Pisces for so long, and them just completing this February, and it really closes out, you know, some very big chapters. Neptune alone was there for 14 years. Was good entertain me, right? That it stands to figure that this Piscean season is a little bit special because we're supposed to be transmuting all that we experienced in those transits, and there's a Mercury retrograde in the house of Pisces this month. So it's, you know, when Mercury retrograde happens, it's good to review things internally. And Pisces 12th house does represent that introspection, intuition, things we hide from ourselves, hidden enemies, you know, stories that we've been telling ourselves. Neptune is going to be, you know, was very much about delusion, what we didn't see, intuition, digging deep. And so now it feels like this Mercury retrograde in Pisces season, as we have finished these cycles, is important because it gives us a chance to look back at what we learned in that period, what we've had to release and let it go, so that we can move into this new cycle of Saturn in Aries with Neptune in Aries holding hands, basically, for us to start from a point of a clean slate. Because Saturn in Aries is compelling us to still take action, but with restraint, or to be more calculating, to make sure that those are the right things, or you're taking action in the right areas. And on the back of Neptune coming out of Pisces, you know, you were seeing all the things that maybe you didn't see for what it was. And so now with this new information, you can head in a different direction. This is opportunity for fresh beginnings. Remember that Aries technically represents the first house. So it's like the first breath, right? And so before we head into this spring equinox, we're having this Mercury retrograde to what's good, Ethereal? What's good, everybody coming in? Hey, right? It's giving us an opportunity to, you know, examine what it is that we really desire now that we have the information at hand. No, what's good, no wash. Okay, so we're gonna get a general energy, and like I said, happy birthday, Pisces. Again, we're in Pisces season, but this card will be for everybody. Okay, whether you're watching now or later, this will embody the energy that you should be trying to achieve during this time as we approach the spring equinox, this true astrological year. Thank you for the gift, my love, right? Let's see. Spirit, can you show me, please? What is it? It needs to know right now. Highest good, most important, please. What is it that the collective needs to know right now? So I want to say, hi, my love. I want to say, if you have let a bridge close because of your stubbornness and your unwillingness to receive constructive criticism, you will be blocking your blessings. I say that for a particular person. Okay. Number 18, Kunta Yahak. Okay, blessing from the son of Hanan Pacha. And it says, blessings from the son of Hanan Pacha. Condor swiftly brings the will of spirit to earth. Through the gift of personal powerful medicine, despite great odds, even in the face of what may appear, even in the face of what may appear to be an inevitable defeat, extraordinary triumph is at hand. This is the prophecy of the resurrection, of the rising of what was thought to be lost. It shall happen with unexpected and surprising swiftness. Your divine destiny is now held in the guiding hand of great spiritual master. So something that you didn't think you had a way to deal with, or a challenge that you never thought you could overcome. Something major is about to shift. The thing is that it's directly connected to your ability to see it in some way. Okay? Here's the prayer for the card. Through unconditional love and in service to the universal heart, I invoke the prophecy of the eagle and the condor, that the opposites shall fly together in harmony once more, and divine presence shall fill the earth and bless all of her children. The destiny of this world is to be love's paradise. Okay, we've been talking about the divine feminine a lot over here. Male and female. Okay, we're just talking about a frequency that resides within us. And you can get to a part in your ascension where you will prevent yourself if you cannot look at your transgressions and the new directions that you're supposed to be headed in. And this isn't for like shaming or blaming oneself. It's like a course correction. Okay? So like where have you been able to speak a truth about a shortcoming of your own that hinders you from learning something new? Pride, ego. I'm going to give you an example so that you could try to find that where it lives in you, wherever that may be, right? You ever seen a little kid who is now learning how to do things on their own, and then the mother tries to help them and they're like, I know how to do it. I could do it. But really they don't. But as the mother, you stand back and you allow them to fidget with the thing until they learn something in that, right? So there's this thing about recognizing when we're learning something, and that's okay. That we don't have to be like, leave me alone, I can do it, right? We can willingly admit that because we have requested, especially my longtime followers, we have requested in our manifestation. I learned my lessons in the ease and the grace and the light of love. So if you have requested to learn your lessons easier, then that also means not being at the tug of war with oneself when you have to see like, oh, so in my trauma or in my past, I was in frequency with said behavior, whatever behavior that is. And now that I know better, I can do better. That doesn't mean that you can't take accountability for that. It doesn't mean that you're throwing yourself on the sword every day, but it shouldn't feel so difficult to say, yeah, I had to change some things. I'm changing some shit right now. What's good, Rebecca? You understand? I'm working on that right now. If anything, you appear. Thank you for the love, ethereal mortis. If anything, you appear more capable of growth in your ability to accept that. What's good, 32 Lisette? That's my name, Lisette. Okay, so I just want to bring that out to start with. Okay, so let's go to the next card. We have here 31 Ilhaz, divine might foretold. Okay, thank you. Okay, Ilhaz, divine might foretold. You know what is correct. You understand that, and any gain which comes from denying your values and compromising yourself creates a loss of soul. There are times when it may seem as though people who act without integrity are obtaining benefit without adverse repercussions. Life can seem unfair if you limit yourself to a strictly human perspective. Yet nothing escapes the attention of the spiritual worlds. Restorative action and balancing fairness is always in action at a higher level. According to divine timing and wisdom, stay true to your integrity. Put your faith in divine justice, and you will win in a way that brings benefit to many. So right now, you could look around and you could probably think of 12, 15 things that happened just since the beginning of the year that may seem completely egregious. And you're like, how do people get away with this shit? I can think of a couple in particular. And, we might even be sitting around like, did it happen yet? No, why not? Like, okay, I understand. For those of you, you know what I'm talking about, right? But Spirit wants to remind you to keep your hands clean. When we throw rocks, we get our hands dirty. No one escapes karma. Even with the destiny swapping, and nobody escapes karma. Okay? Just like your arm's too short to box with God, okay? Your legs ain't long enough to outrun the goddess either. Okay? But when we lower our frequency to judge, we like tarnishing or getting our aura dusty. Okay? I am not saying that we should never defend ourselves, right? Like a return to sender or something is more about self-defense. Okay? But what I'm saying is it is not for us to condemn, because we have to lower ourselves to do it. When you're thinking negatively, the vibration around you is not uplifting you or anything else. Okay, the prayer for this. I honor the Supreme Divine Father with love in my heart. I want to please you because I know that your purpose is fulfillment for all beings. I dedicate my heart to your heart, my will to your purpose, and my soul to your spiritual care and protection. May I treasure the gift of integrity that enables me to feel for the truth of your presence through my choices and actions. I will listen to you, Father, hear you, and not turn away. I receive your mercy and encouragement in the face of my stumbling so that I forgive myself and others freely. I honor the power of your justice, discipline, and truth flowing as merciful correction through me and into the world. Thank you for trusting and loving me. I vow to honor and serve you with all my heart and soul. So be it. Now, here's the thing. We were just talking about the maturity it takes to know when you are like out of sync, or you learned something and now you wouldn't do that again, right? So that's speaking to the God in each of us. Okay? And in the return of the divine feminine, it requires much of our internal divine masculine too. No more can it just be brute force, male or female. No more can it be through sheer manipulation. No more can it be like the dog eat dog world, right? Where it has to be in alignment, right? Because a divine masculine does not abuse authority because he can. And so that also means that we have to find that within ourselves. And that includes the feminines, because so many of us have had to be in our masculine energy for survival, right? So how do we get to the place of balance where we're allowing the divine feminine to create and to birth within us? And we're learning to use our divine masculine with empathy and with fairness. Okay? So we have one more out here. And it's Ezekiel, Medicine of the Rainbow Jaguar. Number 13. 13 is the divine mother number. Isiel protects you now as you transition from one life phase to the next. With her rainbow light, this guardian goddess instructs you on how to use great power with wisdom, to nourish only what is worthy. Using Jaguar medicine with perfect timing, she confronts that which is unworthy of her devotion, eradicating destructive forces and creating space for healing, relief, and rebirth. I was just talking about the creation aspect, right? Her presence is the wild power of the jaguar, the renewal promise of the rainbow, and the divine feminine creativity. All darkness shall be overcome. Now, here it is. Before you go roaring out into this, I love this deck too. Before you go roaring out into this new spring equinox, that's, basically a month away, right? And you have this new year. Now is when, with this, especially with this Pisces retrograde, Mercury retrograde in Pisces, it's super fucking important that you use that to search out the injustice or what was unworthy in your own walk before you go looking at anybody else's shit. In truth, by astrology's purpose, this would be the 12th month of the year. We would be in the final cycle, right? So this would be the purge, the great purge before the new dawn. What have you peeled away about yourself that you no longer want to take into the new year with you? Let's look at the prayer. The rainbow light brings me healing, blessing, and spiritual grace now. According to the unconditional divine love, the Divine Mother brings me all that I need with such generosity and wisdom. Jaguar medicine honors my soul and divine love now. Okay, so I feel like it's a cleansing. Okay, it feels like we are in a cleansing, a shedding. The final, let's say, menstruation for the year. Okay, so let's get it cracking. We're gonna start with water signs. Happy birthday, Pisces. Okay, so Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, pull up. We shall begin with water, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node. Let's see what your challenge is going to be for the next week. Can you show me, please? Transitions. Homegoings, a lot of homegoings. Spirit, can you show me, please? Change is out here. Child in reverse. Okay, thank you. Understood. Let's just look through those, but those are not the cards. Okay, so you have change in the upright water signs. You have child in the reverse. You have journey and mature woman. Okay, so this is like maiden mother crone, or right? But I feel like it's talking about Neptune's cycle in Pisces. Okay, and maybe what you learned in the last 14 years, you should take a look at that. Okay. You're on to new things. There's like not a naivete anymore. Okay. House, main male, gift, courthouse. Something is being solidified for you. Okay. It's going to change the way people see you. You're standing in the community. Okay. I take questions, but they're at the end. Okay. And you must be a follower, right? So this here, something is being formalized. Okay, something's being formalized. Now, this could be getting a divorce, and that's formal. Getting married, that's formal. Buying a house, selling a house, starting a job, leaving a job. Whatever it is, it's a change from where you were prior to. At the bottom of the deck, concern. I said to you, the mature woman is there, maiden, mother, and crone. What I didn't say was the divine masculine. I feel like there's something within water signs, okay, male or female, where you need to look at what happens when you feel like you're losing control in a situation. And when you feel like you need to switch into your masculine frequency, and are you doing that, male or female, in a way that is what you believe the divine masculine should be? Or are you using it, whether subversively or out and out aggressively? Like, are you applying pressure? Okay, male and female. I feel like this new season for all of us, we're to be learning how to find people who are willing to traverse the journey with us, but not so much try to convince people. That is no longer our job. What's good, Mel? Do you understand? It's like this energy of wanting people and trying to convince them, and pick Misha, male or female, all that shit is over with. And if you stay on that cycle, it's going to be very uncomfortable. Right? So now it's about walking paths with like-minded individuals. And how do you achieve that, water signs? And when you're doing that, are you flushing out any subversive, like, undercurrent of emotions where maybe you might have done things sometimes passive aggressively, or out and out more sternly, right? You have out here the hangman in reverse, right? Not wanting to see the opposite or not looking at something, right? And then judgment, right? I feel like maybe something that you learned in the last 14 years had to do with like a mindset or the way you used to go after something. And you might have been doing that for a while, but one particular situation, you lost something because of it. Okay, so now I feel like you're on a new trajectory with this Justice card, okay? You have 3 major arcana out here, okay? This Pisces season is very relevant to the new 4 major arcana. The Star is out here with the High Priestess, which is Pisces at the bottom of the deck. Ain't no need to go further than that, okay? So basically what's happening here is how much you can be self-examining is in direct correlation to the level of growth that you're going to receive. And water signs often don't want to be so emotional. They don't want to feel all that level of emotion, which is why they spend so much time trying to maybe get other people to see what they're feeling. Okay, so I feel like this time March has something to do with going inward, sitting in the emotion before you express it outward. Okay, Hangman in reverse. Okay, Spirit, why? 4 of Knives. Okay, a new perspective is necessary about something. Look, I can't believe the amount of major arcana. The Star's at the bottom of the deck, right? It's like a phoenix rising, okay? But the self-examination is like the final thing, okay? Judgment comes out with Aunt Caroline. You're getting a something ended abruptly. And now it's like you're starting all over, and maybe you've started over in other times, but there's something that hits different this time with the 7 of baskets, right? And it's like, I know I've made some mistakes. I know I've made some mistakes. I even found some, there's a bug under my bed and there's a little green man in my head, right? You even recognize that there was even some self-sabotage back in the day when I was young. I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I wish I was a kid again, right? Something like that. And the strength card here. Okay, so you've gone through a lot of things, but there's some maturity. I feel like it's not that you're immature, but it's that you haven't wanted to see where the hurt was rooted. Okay? Justice and wow. Okay. Justice and the Fool. This is Aries and Libra. These are the opposite signs, the sister signs, right? Self in the relate, and this is the self, okay? Aries, self house. And then this is Libra, right? Seventh house, relationships, right? So what we believe individually shapes our trajectory no more than when we come into contact with other individuals. Because when we do, the story that we told ourselves, it starts to crack. Okay? We start to recognize that maybe we haven't been so fair. So it doesn't mean that what you felt was untrue. Two things could be true at the same time, but we're talking about how we wield power or how we try to avert feeling pain. And sometimes the way we do that is by trying to impose will. Water signs, it feels like there was something that you didn't want to bring to the top. Keep rising to the top, right? And it could have been the main seed that was underlying so many issues, and it feels like you have slayed so many dragons, and yet it's like there's a piece of you that doesn't want to know why the dragons keep coming. But that's the part you have to look directly in the face. What's good, Miss Lotus Wisdom, right? So here's the star, and this has to do with you feeling all of the emotions and not getting on the phone or not calling the friend or not going to the, oh, I see you later, right? Yeah, you have to let the tower happen. You have to feel all the feels. Not talk about it with your friends. Hi, honey. I'm not saying that there isn't a time and a place for that. But when we're doing that, we're looking for validation. And this isn't about validation. This is solely about you examining you and feeling what you felt and why you felt it and where it came from. Okay? And then once you do that with this 3 of baskets and the sun, you'll have the clarity of what event has been bringing these things. Okay, I do answer questions, but I take them at the end, and you must be a follower, because right now it's like you're running around with scissors, water signs. You're willing to take on the work. Okay, you're willing to take on the work. You're willing to examine the problem. You're really so good at that. Okay. But Spirit doesn't want you to try to bounce it off of somebody else right now, because often you do that to affirm a standpoint. They just want you to feel what you feel and absorb that before you try to communicate it to anybody else. Okay, you got the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck. Why is that, Spirit? So I feel like there's an apology that you maybe owe yourself about there was a long road that you took. Okay, because you felt like you had to be a certain way. There could be a male figure that has to do with the core of this, or how you embody what that looks like on you in some way. Okay. And you weren't always fair in the pursuit of that. But it felt justified in some way. So that way you wouldn't have to like look at something or someone that disappointed you. Okay. That's what it feels like. This is giving like overachiever. Okay, like I had to be perfect. I did everything perfect because there was somebody that had very high standards and da 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 da. And maybe now compulsively you have high standards because you're using somebody else's uh, measuring stick. Okay, this is kind of like a daddy issue, male or female. Okay, that's really what it feels like. That there's some pieces inside water signs. You may like a lot of order because it gives you anxiety, but really what it's trying to show you is that you want to be in control. It makes you feel safe. You should examine why that is. Okay, that's what I have for my water signs. Okay, so that means that fire is next. What's good? Fire signs: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Pull up. Hey, Yaya. What is going on, peoples? Aries, Leo, and Sag. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node. Let's look at what the challenges are for you, my love. Spirit, can you show me what is it that my Aries, Leos, and Sagittariuses need to know right now? Important messages. What are the challenges they're facing right now? Can you show me, please? I do this every Monday. Okay, I even take questions at the end, but you must be a follower. Spirit, show me. Official person, you're in the becoming. There's an opportunity that's coming very shortly. Now, don't stand in your own way, fire signs. Don't stand in your own way. Because you got official person, you got thief, message, high honor, and house. Okay? I feel like you are being watched even when you're not knowing you're being watched. If you're up for a big job, watch the internet and what you've got on it. Maybe put your page private for a little bit. I feel like there's just watch your responses, those kind of things. I feel like there's a great chance in front of you, but there might be some lingering habits under pressure and how you respond when you feel under pressure. Spirit, can you show me what's that about? What's that about, please? What's that about? Show me. Okay. Got the Knight of Swords out here. Sometimes, something will happen and you have trouble controlling your throat chakra. Knight of Cups, okay? And people are not, they're not used to your level of directness. Even if you don't say shit, the energy that is coming off of you, people feel the vibe, okay? So they take it as aggressive. You know what I'm talking about. I have an Aries stellium, so I know Y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? And people take it in a particular way. Meanwhile, you just being regular. They would just shit a whole brick if they knew what actual pressure looked like. Okay? So, Knight of Swords. Yeah. Knight of Swords is out here with the Knight of Cups. So whenever you stand up for yourself, or even if you didn't say shit, just your energy shift, people, they're like, they feel scared or whatever. They're the Knight of Cups. They're clutching pearls, right? The Nine of Pentacles. You're like, I'm just over here doing my own fucking thing. Five of Wands. Now, since people, I'm going to give you an example. Let me give you an example. And it's the Nine of Pentacles, not the Nine of Swords that we're talking about. Right? So you're just doing your own thing. And this Five of Wands comes. What happens is you end up being, let's put a room. Let's say you're at work. And everybody at their desk are bunny rabbits. Everybody's a bunny rabbit. Bunny rabbit here, bunny rabbit there, bunny rabbit. And then there's a lion that was raised by bunny rabbits. And the lion comes in and he hops his ass down to his desk. And he does all the things that the bunny rabbits do. But guess what? All of them know he's not a fucking bunny rabbit. And no matter how much he may wonder why they don't see him like a bunny rabbit, he ain't a bunny rabbit. Do you understand? And so, fire signs, there's days when you want to be seen as warm and cuddly and you don't understand why that's not the case. Good example, right? So even if you don't talk and you didn't say shit, you're still a lion. Okay? And that is the problem, right? So when people fear the lion, what does everybody in the office want? They want the lion gone. But the lion didn't do anything. The lion didn't bite anybody. It came in. It tried to be like everybody else. It didn't cause no fucking problems. But they're threatened by the lion. It is what it is. You understand? Knight of Swords. This causes the lion to have to always choose his fucking words carefully. Because I'm trying to smile. I'm trying to smile. I try to show all my teeth so people know I'm not being mean. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but they still think I'm the devil. Two of Cups. And I try to be nice, and I want to show people that I want to be, in relationship, but I feel blocked. Trying to roar quietly, but still scar, right? Still scares the rabbit, right? And then the High Priestess, right? So Spirit said, stop trying to be the rabbit. It's okay. Stop trying to be the rabbit. You're not going to be the rabbit. And as long as you try to be the rabbit to make everybody else feel comfortable, guess what happens? The only thing that they feel is that you're lying. And in essence, you are. Because you're trying to be less of who you are to make other people feel comfortable. Knight of Cups. I won't bite you. It's okay. Meanwhile, the whole fucking time you're the Empress. Okay? But they know you got that blade back there. They know you got that blade back there. And it's just heartbreaking to see that no matter how nice you try to be, what's good, no patience, right? No matter how nice you try to be, you still gonna get the same reaction because they still scared of the fucking lion, right? So the Nine of Pentacles, the better idea would be to find a room of lions. Nine of Pentacles, of other individuals You might as well be yourselves, because if not, what happens is the inauthentic, they're not getting what you're lying about. It's just a fucking lie. Thank you, my love. You understand? So the Nine of Pentacles, you have to be around people who are self-assured enough that they're not scared of the lion either. Maybe because they're the jaguar or they're the panther or whatever the fuck, right? Four of Sticks, right? That's the peace and harmony. Do you really want to spend your whole time trying to pass yourself off as a rabbit? Five of Wands. And inevitably, one day you'll have to be the lion. Right? So the Five of Wands, when conflict comes, right? The King of Pentacles. You will go further by leaning more on the things that are your strongest qualities, which might be your might, which might be your aggressiveness, which might be those things, right? But you have to find positive ways to express them, or else you'll always be suppressing them, and people will always feel that you're suppressing something, so it will always feel inauthentic. Meanwhile, you're just trying to be nice so people could feel comfortable. Okay? Six of Coins, right? And the Star. When the lion takes on his true persona, right? He will have more to offer. Okay? As a leader, right? Here's the Two of Cups. Or Two of Pentacles, sorry. Spirit, why is the Two of Pentacles here? But while you're trying to be less so other people could feel like more, right? You're not doing the things that will lead you, that put fire in your belly, that lead you to be the leader that you are, right? And they're still not going to accept you because they're still going to see it as there's something untrue, or like if the snake is giving you something and you're like, should I trust it, right? We have in society negative concept of snakes. That doesn't mean that they're bad, right? So the Moon in reverse, it seems very deceptive. And don't you want to free yourself from having to prove your intentions? Because I feel like that's what it is, that your strength, people confuse your strength with your intentions. And so because they feel fear, they think that translates to them with bad intent. Is that making sense? Okay, so you have the Father of Knives in reverse. I'm hitting it right on the nail, right? So, and then what happens is inevitably you'll get pissed off. And then when you get pissed off, and remember I started this by saying Aries and Libra, the opposite signs. So eventually you'll get pissed off and you'll be the King of Swords in reverse, which would be a Libra, right? A negative, low energy Libra, right? Where now you're going to make decisions unilaterally, not give a fuck about what people. Now you bit the rabbit's head off. You know what I'm saying? All right. Three of Sticks in reverse. And so these future things, right? And I said, be careful that you don't get, remember I said that in the beginning, don't get too aggressive or respond in a way that scares people away, or you scare something away of an opportunity. Okay, what's opposite of Sag is Gemini. Okay, and whatever sign you are, we have both signs within us, our regular sign and then the opposite sign of that. And normally when you fall out of frequency or something gets you out of character, you're going to borrow some of those traits from that opposite sign. Okay? So even in the Ace of Cups, you could have loved that fucking rabbit. But you still a lion, baby. Okay? Okay? So that's the thing here. You will be more in alignment with the things that you want to achieve and that you're supposed to achieve once you can be who you really are. That doesn't mean you should go around biting heads off, right? But that you shouldn't have to shrink yourself. If you're a big personality, find some other big personalities, boo-boo. Ace of Cups. Why is this here? With the Magician and the Nine of Coins. And that's when you manifest or you really reach your higher self, okay? And you become independent. You won't be worried about other people's perceptions of you, and that will give you a newfound freedom to find people that are more like you, okay? Stop hanging out with rabbits, okay? Feels like people want you to be less so they don't feel threatened. And it's false because they're always going to know that you're the lion. Okay? So it's false on their end too. I just want to explain that. Okay? That's what I have for my fire signs. Earth signs. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Pull up. Thank you, my love. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node. Let's look at the challenges for you guys. What's good, Carmel? Hi, my love. Let's look at this. What's going on for my Earth signs. So we have the message, high honor. Something you've been waiting for is coming right now. Okay, I just finished water signs. If you want to know, you can head over to YouTube where you can reverse and see it. It was the first element that I did. Occupation and thoughts. Official person at the bottom. There's something changing for you, Earth signs. Something's becoming more solidified. Okay. I feel like you've put in a lot of work over the time and something is now coming to fruition. I feel like there might be somebody who's envious or feels they're more deserving of something that you have done or what you've done with it or something. Okay. I feel like somebody had the same opportunities as you. They may not have taken them. Let's see. Spirit, what can you show me what's going on for my Earth signs? What's going on for my Earth signs? Can you show me, please? What's going on for Earth signs, please? What's going on for Earth signs? What's going on for Earth signs? So the ancestors are at play, death and transformation. Three of Sticks is out here with the Three of Knives. There's something heavy you've been dealing with. And there is a crossroads on you right now. The Five of Coins, okay? There's something about being left out in the cold. And maybe that has been the frequency. I feel like black sheep energy. Maybe you've had a lot of responsibilities over the years. Okay, Two of Cups, but you're in alignment now with something. You paid your dues in some way with the Eight of Sticks. I feel like the ancestors are protecting you. A Ten of Swords from somebody who would like to see you receive the Ten of Swords, okay, because they feel like somewhat entitled, okay? I do take personal questions, but I take them at the end. Spirit, and you must be a follower. Spirit, can you show me, please? Ancestors, please. What is this? Why is the ancestors here for Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node? Can you show me, please? Why is this here? Ancestors, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node. Why is this here for Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn? Can you show me, please? Three of Wands. Something has been woven into the tapestry of your life. It has to do with something that you took on. Okay, it has something to do with the Neptune transit while it was Pisces. Okay, it feels like you're being rewarded for a road less traveled. Okay, Three of Sticks with the King of Swords. Okay, this is something to do with someone who is not thinking about the labor of love that you gave or are giving, or the time that you've put into it. They're not considering that. What they're considering is what you have, or what you are obtaining, or what you are getting. And they feel that it should be theirs. Therein lies conflict. Four of Cups, you may feel that there is somebody, maybe even behind another feminine, who would like to cause a problem for you. However, I feel like you are strongly protected and guided and cloaked on your journey. Okay, I feel like this person is upset. I feel like this person's upset because they want to know how you did something, how you managed to keep something so squeaky clean, the world, with the Queen of Wands, how you make it look effortless. King of Wands, okay? And the Queen of Wands, okay? So understanding, you're making it look effortless. You're very magnetic. It's pulling energy towards you, but you're actually checking off things off this list like you were in your masculine energy. Eight of Knives, okay? With the Two of Swords, that's the Ten of Swords, okay? Somebody didn't expect you to take the high road or do the right thing or something like that. They're hoping you don't. They're hoping you don't. Seven of Wands. I feel like internally you feel somebody's watching. I always feel like somebody's watching me and I have no privacy. Oh, right? And then you've got the Tower and the Three of Pentacles. All they're doing is severing their access to you. That's what I think is really happening. They're making themselves left out in the cold. Okay, and it has to do with somebody's ego. Five of Coins, what is this? Five of Coins comes out with the Page of Wands. Because somebody's aggressiveness towards you is going to be their downfall. What I said, okay? Somebody's aggression towards you is going to be the reason why they're left out in the cold, okay? Because it was a bad fucking idea. They jumped the gun. They thought you had some kind of intentions, or they hoped you'd fall for the bait, okay? But you got the Five of Swords here. It's not going to happen, okay? It's like you see or feel them coming, okay? The Seven Swords, right? And that even when they try to pretend, you feel their deception. Okay, and at the bottom, Temperance, they're going to want to like stay in the vicinity. This person is watching you in some way, but with the intent to start some shit. Okay, but you have hope and faith. Okay, Death and Transformation, High Priestess, and the Ten of Cups. Okay, it's like the divine is in partnership with you. Okay? And as long as you are in higher resonance of doing the right thing, you cannot be tripped up. Okay, you have peace and harmony here. I feel like somebody's going to be miserable because they wanted to do something other than, or they wanted another reaction, and it's going to end in the 10 of Swords for them. Okay, they should have went about it another way, but their need to want to take you down a peg, earth signs, is going to be the reason why they're left out in the cold. Do you understand? Very much that's what it feels like. Somebody's aggression towards you for personal reasons is going to cut off their own nose despite their face. Because they think it's their big time to catch you out there or something like that. And in reality, all they're doing is showing their fucking hand. Okay? Because you probably would have went to the mat or went out your way. And now you won't have to, because that person showed what their shit was about. And that's what I had for my earth signs. Okay, air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Pull up Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node. Let's see what you guys got going on. Spirit, can you show me what is it that air signs need to know right now, please? What do air signs need to know? What do my air signs need to know right now? What do my air signs need to know? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Change. Poverty. Main female. Pathway. And Lovers. So there's a frequency that is changing for you, air signs. I feel like I hear hit and a miss. So it feels like some money's coming, but then you might have a major expense that takes like half of it. And you could get very nervous. Spirit said, do not get nervous. A pathway is opening up, and this also could lead to some type of romantic endeavor. If it's not romantic, you're becoming in alignment with an opportunity. Okay? So let's take a look. Spirit, can you show me what is it that my air signs need to know right now? What does air signs need to know right now? Spirit, can you show me what do my air signs need to know right now? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. No. Let me move these. 10 of Swords was out here. You had a really hard time. What's good, Miss Wilma? You had a really hard time for a while there. Okay? 10 of Wands. And it was heavy, right? But the 2 of Cups could have been due to a relationship. Seven of Swords in reverse, but you see something for what it was, okay? And then the Page of Cups in reverse. And there's an apology that you had to give yourself that you wasn't getting from somewhere else. And the 8 of Wands, something was communicated to you. Okay, the Tower. So you went through some type of tower, could have been your career, finances, whatever. Um, but it was kind of in a way for Spirit to show you what you were no longer in alignment with. Okay, Six of Swords. I feel like you are now on an easier trajectory or headed, on a smoother path. And it has to do with learning a truth, okay? And because of that, you have the King of Pentacles. Okay, so it feels like your finances are about to rebound. Let's take a look. You may have already started to see some of this rebound, although there may be some back and forth. I'm going down, baby. Let it go, sugar, Okay, is that T.I.? Who the fuck is that? Seven of Swords. Okay, so there was something that you were not in alignment with in your finances before, or there was something the way you were moving or how you saw things wasn't really a real perception, like an accurate perception. Okay, and that led to some Ten of Swords, or you trusting things that weren't or shouldn't have been trusted. Okay, and the Strength card and the Moon and the Ace of Cups. You could have been basing, like, let's say your whole confidence was, according to your job, right? And then something goes in that area, and then you're wondering, like, it takes a blow to your character. But you were more than your job, or you were more than your relationship, right? You kind of lost yourself in the descriptive, in the label, right? So the Ten of Wands, right? Too comfortable, too reliant. Ten of Wands with the King of Cups, right? And so whatever that was, and thank you for the love, guys, it made you feel very emotionally naked. Two of Cups is out here, Spirit. Why is this out here? With the Tower and the Seven of Sticks. This is why Spirit allowed something to be stripped away from you, because they needed you to stop like hiding. Okay. And the only way was to make you feel, what's good, Maddie? The only way was to make you feel a little defensive. Okay, so you got the Seven of Swords in reverse. Whatever it was, like, I'm not overly attached to my job, but you've been there 25 years and they haven't given you a raise in 5, right? And it was time to go, but you wouldn't have never did it, right? But now it happened, and the Seven of Swords is here in reverse, and you can't unsee it, that they didn't really give a fuck about you all those years. And the Nine of Pentacles crossed wasn't even your true desire, or it wasn't even giving you the independence that you wanted. And the Four of Swords, and you were never healing because it's crossed, right? And so in some ways, your ancestors give you this gift by stripping away something so that you can build the future that you really want. But first, you have to make peace with the fact that you allowed something, right, to be more important than it was. Instead of being at the altar of you, you were at the altar of it. Does that make sense? That's like giving away your power in a sense, okay? So the Page of Cups is in reverse. So using the job, for instance, although this could be a relationship, this could be anything, using a job, for instance, and then after you've dedicated so much time and you don't get so much of an apology. That was what was communicated, that dedication was not what the devotion that you had was not the devotion that was given back to you, and that maybe it's time to be your own fucking boss. And there goes your queen, right? And I feel like this has to do with, some harsh lessons that you learned, but now you won't make that mistake again of putting your heart or your value into something that doesn't value you. You won't make that mistake again. Okay, with the 8 of coins, okay? Especially when it comes to work, you will see that to be just what it is, work. Okay? You will keep those two areas separate because there was something that you learned in that period about yourself and the collaborations that you had, and how it's time now to go to calmer waters and build something that is more true. Okay? That's what I have for my air signs. Something big, though, is coming. It just feels like this Mercury retrograde, it feels like you're supposed to absorb. You're welcome. That you're supposed to absorb how you overgave to something. So that this time, it's not that giving so much is bad. It's just to what? Right? You'll be much wiser about where you invest your time, money, effort, love. Right? And that the first person that you should invest in is you. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys. All right, so now I can't stay on super long. I'll do a 3 and 3, drop them quickly. Spirit picks the questions. You must be a follower. I do check. Okay. Get to typing. Okay, Maddie. It's usually yes or no's, but I'll tell you what Spirit got to say. You don't gotta argue. You know what? You don't always have to respond. I don't know how old you are, but, and I don't know if you're a Libra, you have Libra in your chart, but Spirit is saying that there's somebody that could say things to you to get you to respond. Because as soon as you respond, you're thinking about defending yourself, so you can't be on the offense, you're already on the defense. And that you should learn a phrase called speak softly but walk with a big stick, and that your power is not in your response, that it is more in where you give your frequency to. And so somebody uses your need for the emotional response against you. It gives them like power in the argument, and this will lead to you going back and being like, I should have said, and I didn't catch it, right? Respond less. Plus, Scorpio is a very powerful sign. So by you responding less and going within and processing first before the response, you will definitely be a more anchored and not so easily swayed. Okay? And Taurus and Scorpio are the sister signs. I'm a Taurus. I fully know what I'm talking about Scorpio. Okay? And sometimes Scorpio can be blinded by their anger. So if you want to be more controlled, be less emotional, at least outward, Maddie. That's the thing that like a backhanded compliment or whatever, you might feel the need to respond. Don't. Use your ammunition wisely. You're much stronger than you think, Spirit says. Okay? Okay, I'm going to take one over here. Is the direction that I'm taking with my podcast and book. What should I be doing? Yeah, you're not crazy. I didn't say he was always right. I said that they're doing it on purpose and that you should rein that in. You know what I'm saying? Is the direction I'm taking with my podcast and book. Okay. Yes. Not only is it right, but you're going to get some outward responsibilities to try you to see if you really mean business or if you'll sit down and put yourself on the back of the bus. That's how you know when you're about to really get that shit. Because if you don't put yourself on the back of the bus, then it means you really want it and you're finding ways to juggle all the things. Okay? And I feel like Spirit wants to test you in a way. 8 of coins. Will you put your money where your mouth is? Okay? And inevitably, something will have to be left out in the cold. What will that thing be? What are you willing to do away with or to put on the back burner? Okay? But 9 of coins is being promised. Okay? You just got to prioritize correctly. I feel like you are headed in the right direction. Spirit is just saying that a test is coming. I have 3 children. I have told them in all parts, like each one of them has heard this before. It's not your turn. Sometimes it ain't your turn. Sometimes it's your sister's turn. Sometimes it's your brother's turn. And we're all going to be having to take turns, right? So something, it's not their turn. It's your turn. Can you do that while you're managing everything else? Okay, that's what I have for you. Let's see. Okay, Destiny, is my relationship with Victor over? Good now. I don't know if you are gonna be moving, Destiny, but ease on down the road. It's time for a new beginning. Okay, it's time for a new beginning. And it feels like you might be concentrated on love, and Spirit wants you concentrating on making money or on building something for your future that brings you money or economics. Spirit said they took it because had it stayed, you'd have paid more attention to that than to your future. And so there are very big things coming for you. But that situation was a distraction. And I think the spirit is saying that you know that it was. It's actually still distracting you. But once you finish with, allowing this distraction to release it, you're going to find that there's somebody out there that puts you through less things and who is more responsible. That's what I have for you. Okay, I'm going back to this side now. Patience. What do I need to know right now? Something that has fallen away, you have to see it as the opposite. So you might have been like, why the fuck did that happen? But it's leading to a new perspective. You're going to go into something slowly and you're going to wonder, like, let's say you got ghosted or something. And you could be like, well, that was just going great or whatever. And then what happened, right? Or, something happens at the office and they close down the office, so they send people home or whatever. There's a fucking reason why. Judgment, something that you can't see. Okay? Don't be so rushing to like get that thing back. I want that old thing back, okay? Because there's a real fucking reason why it had to be swept aside. It's something to do with your healing and something about a contract that was already signed, a predestined time, okay? Had you been still connected to something, it would be painful. Okay? You're being redirected or you were already redirected. I'll give you an example. Let's say, God forbid, tomorrow you hear about an ex that you were head over heels with, and this person was always pushing you to the side, and you were head over heels with this person, right? This actually happened to somebody I know, okay? And then they left you. You can't understand it. You're like, why? What happened? I thought we were perfect. Da 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 da. Right? And then 2 years later, you hear about this particular person who might have been a street pharmacist. And now they go and they pull over. This is exactly what happened. They let out their girlfriend and their and their child. They let out their girlfriend and their child out of the vehicle. And as soon as they walked away, they shot that fucking Jeep up. You caught the line, hey Eve. And they shot that Jeep up. And had you been in that vehicle, maybe you wouldn't have gotten out the car. Maybe it would have been you in that car. What's good, Jennifer Boyd? You see what I'm saying? What's good, everybody coming in? Right? So sometimes we don't understand, what's good, Ruby, that the reason why we were moved aside is because that particular situation is not for us. It doesn't end well. If we're in that place, then it'll go to a bad outcome. What's good, Huda? Right? So sometimes something that feels like it has no explanation, it's something like that. All right, that's what I have for you. Something is or was removed from you for a reason. Okay? Monizi, will I get a job soon? Yes, but be careful. All money ain't good money. Okay. Make sure that it's something legal. This may be, you might have to travel for this. Okay. And you may be working for a woman. Okay. This could be like an assistant or something like that. I feel like with this woman, she has much to teach you, and she could be like the boss or the owner of the company, or this could be in her home. But either way, don't ever cross her. Okay? I feel like she has much to impart on you. Okay? And for something for short growth, you could lose a major opportunity. Okay? I feel like this woman has a lot to teach you, a lot of opportunities. So when you come in contact with her, know that she has a lot to teach you. Okay, a lot of listening, less talking, because she moves kind of quiet. So observing is going to teach you a lot. Okay, that's what I have for you. Eve Corona. Okay. So Eve, there's something about a relationship, could be a fire sign, um, and a crossroads. And are you going to continue to, yeah, um, are you going to continue to take roads with particular type of individuals that have certain frequencies that could lead you in a negative place? Feels like you have a type. Feels like that type can be out in front of his skis at times. And here you are, should see yourself as getting away, okay, from the devil and something that maybe you can't see, but it's meant for you to get away from that now. Okay? Now is not the time to align with certain individuals, even by phone. Change your number for a while. Okay? Yeah. Because it's more than just the type, it's also who's listening. I had a girlfriend close to me who ended up having to do a short stint because she laid up with the wrong person and she was pregnant. Why do I always get headaches? Okay, Huda. Welcome. Well, you can't worry about the two. You got to put yourself in one, Huda. I feel like you should concentrate on it feels like school actually. It feels like the school will give you the growth to give you the income, although you may feel very disenchanted by financial circumstances right now. And it may grow slowly, but if you choose right, you will go to calmer waters. Okay. I feel like, yeah, you don't have to try for the shortcut. Okay. You just got to stay afloat. That's all. Okay. And I feel like you will do that. They don't want you to like leave school to go to work because you're like, oh, well, I have to make money. No, hunker down. It might be a little hard for a little bit, but it's going to come through. Okay. All right, guys, that's what I have for you guys. I need to go check on my mom. I'm going to try to come back this week and do it again on Thursdays. I'm wishing you all light and love and blessings on blessings. Bye. You might be able to do a part-time, but not full-time and full-time. Okay. Bye, guys.